Call this meeting of the Monongalia County Board of Education to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Microphone all the way there. Okay, we're going to start off. Historically, we have not addressed any Facebook negative press or any of that because it would burden us down to the nth degree. But there's been one circulating that has a lot of questions, very few answers, and so we want to cover that first with the 660S crowdfunding policy. So what I want to do is get all those, hopefully a lot of your questions will be answered before you, if you want to speak, or if you don't want to speak after that, that's fine too. So I want to turn it over to, you want to start, or
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Kelly. Just this is policy 6605, which is titled crowdfunding, and it was most recently adopted by the board in the year 2020, I believe. And in your executive file this evening, I have placed a copy of the policy for your review. In addition to that, I have also given you a explanation that comes from state code, state policy related to the usage of faculty senate funds, the amount that each of our teachers gets, and how that money is to be expended. And then the third document that you have there as well is pretty extensive. And that is a breakdown of our excess levy allocations that go to our schools. So we felt like it was important, in addition to just the policy itself, that the board, especially our two new board members, have an understanding of what types of funds we provide to our educators, so that they can expend those funds on their students first and foremost. And in essence, that's really what the purpose of these funds are for, is to offset the cost of supplies for our teachers, so that as little as possible has to come out of their own pockets, should they choose. Now, as we have been talking about this internally, and this first came to my attention when Dr. Morgan had contacted me, said she had seen or had been approached about the rationale behind the policy, and reached out and asked if we could talk about it this evening. So that's really the purpose of why we are discussing it, just so we all have an understanding of historically why the policy is there. The staff has done a lot of research over the last couple of weeks so that they could answer any questions the board may have regarding the policy. But I will tell you that from a historical basis, and again, this is really on a county by county basis, because there is no state statute related to this. There is no federal guidelines related to this. This is just County Board of Education policy that each one has an option to adopt. I previously worked in a county that permitted this type of fundraising. It also was a county that didn't have an excess levy, so there weren't additional funds that could be shared with teachers. I will tell you, in our research, we've seen how much our teachers get that they can spend on kids, and it's a lot of money. The reason that this board really, I think, for two reasons, that they adopted this policy in 2020. One was the fact that we do have an excess levy that is about 22%, 22% of our operating budget, that for many, many years, the Monongalia County community has supported the Board of Education and the students with that excess levy. And we can talk to you, as you can see in the documents that we provided you, where all that money goes to and how much money goes into our schools to offset a lot of those costs that we've been talking about. And so just, I think out of sheer respect for our community, to not nickel and dime them to death with fundraisers. And we still do a lot of fundraising related to specific sports programs or bands or extracurricular activities and things of that nature.
Field trips. But there's a lot of reasons why the board has said, the community supports us financially. Let's not keep going and asking them continually to give us more and more money. So because that excess levy is super important to us, and we don't want to paint a picture that's not realistic for our community about the amount of money that they actually do give to the Board of Education. And then the second really piece is the oversight. When you're using third-party online resources to raise funds, the board loses its ability to oversee those collections of funds. We don't know what's being ordered. We don't know how much is being ordered. We don't know where it's being delivered to. We have zero control from that aspect. And really that's kind of opening Pandora's box. We want to be good stewards of the money that we bring in for our teachers and for our kids. And in order to be able to do that, we have to have some oversight about what's being funded and who's doing those funding, who's doing those things. So that's historically where the rationale for the policy came from. But again, we're prepared to try and answer any questions that the board may have. I want to kind of go back to the excess levy. That is what this community chooses to have for the children. And whatever is on that excess levy, if we designate X amount of dollars going to whatever program, that's where it's going. And the public can tell us, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go this way. Because we put a lot of public portion of that into the excess levy. So it's different in the fact that that's the time where the county taxpayers, voters can say, here's where we want our kids to head in this direction, and so forth. And you're right on the keeping tabs. And part of that, and Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong, the IRS audits and says you've spent the money where you said you would spend it.
We have an annual audit from
Right.
an outside firm that when they come in, they review our excess levy expenditures against the ballot to make sure that we are spending those funds in accordance with the approved ballot by the taxpayers.
And historically, we have,
And we have had IRS audits for our bond programs.
and we've always
Yes.
been right on. Pat, I think he's giving me a notice. Oh, what's wrong? Oh, okay. He's telling us to speak up. So, anyway, that's kind of where I wanted to head with that one. And as far as with what Dr. Campbell had mentioned, we have to keep pretty good tabs in every school. And any money that's come in, any fundraisers, any donations, any of those kinds of things has to be recorded, correct? And you will be the one that they have to report it to, correct?
Yes.
And so it's all, we have to have tabs on it all along. So we have to be careful about, and the other part that I was concerned with is who owns it. If somebody says, I need a laptop for this class, and it gets crowdsourced and is shipped there, who owns that laptop? We need to know what's on that laptop and whether it's one of ours. So there could be issues
Right.
with that. So it's not that we don't want anybody's money. It's just that historically this county and this community has supported the kids crazy. I mean, it's amazing how much they come forward. So.
When I, if it's okay.
Sure. Right.
When I first heard about it, my friend had texted and said, have you heard about this? And I said, no, I haven't, but it sounds like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. We're going to defend our teachers because that's what we do, and we take care of of our people in our community, and teachers are so special to us and actually all the staff. So let's go. And then I had my teenager not long after that mention all this negativity that's coming on social media, which is sad. And I said, there's not one. I thought to myself, there's not one person that's sitting up here that doesn't want to defend and ensure our teachers are equipped with everything that they need. So I wanted to hear, I did what we should do, especially as, if you don't know, we're elected officials, so we should reach out to the local community, the people that live here and the people that pay their taxes here and the people that vote. So I wanted to hear from them and get some input. So I got the policy. I mean, Christina and I are, a month in as a board member, so the policy is a few years old, so I wanted to investigate and I wanted to learn more about it. And once I challenge everyone to do that, once we began to learn from it, I got a lot of teacher friends. And I heard from a lot of them, and it was crazy to hear how much they understood it and actually supported it and understand that the risk that come along with crowdfunding. Now, they're all open to getting more. I mean, we all are. We're human, right? But I know as a parent, there are lists that goes out. So I have 2 girls, and I've been to Brookhaven with 2 bags full of supplies every other week for 8 years of taking stuff in when people ask for stuff. We are allowed to do that. When you get into, and the more I investigated other states and other counties, when you get into a third party online, we have to be extremely careful. And our experts will tell you who owns the laptop when it comes in. I got 3 bookshelves. 2 of them went to my classroom. I didn't need the third one. Where's the third one go? Right? There's a temptation there that we have to be extremely careful. When you have 3 third-grade teachers at Brookhaven, they all put on their wish list. Well, one of them gets all their stuff because they have a very well-off family as part of the other 2, maybe not so much. Now you're getting into equality. And if we want everyone to be equal, it's more than Board of Education doesn't support teachers. It's way more than that. So we need to be careful when we do that. Levy is 22% of our funding. We do have people that pay a lot of attention to their taxes. I don't know if you know that or not. A lot better than I do. I probably need to do a better job. But now they're buying things for the class on crowdfunding, and they say, "Oh, I don't need to vote for the levy and then we have a lot to handle if the levy doesn't pass." So we just need to be careful. And then again, the oversight, who audits it, who takes care of it. I'm open 100% for ensuring our teachers have what they need, and whatever we need to do, I'm 100% bought into making it right. But we just need to be careful and understand the policy and why it's there.
Yeah, we have to be very cognitive of sustainable funding. I mean, it could all be super great for 3 years and then goes away for whatever reason, and that's why the levy, it's the 3 years. We know we're going to have that funding for 3 years, and we don't have to get to the point of now we have a wish list, to keep the school system going. So it's
I have a
very
few
shaky.
questions and concerns.
Sure.
So, like Mr. Smith said, I'm a parent. I show up at school with my suggested school supplies because they are not required school supplies. So I'm wondering, do we record the beginning of the year donations for school supplies if we need to keep track of everything? So I got my Cheat Lake list this year, and I bought everything on the list because I have the means and I'm able to do that. Is that considered to be part of an audit as well?
No,
No.
it is
Okay. So how does this, I read the policy, I've talked to teachers, I've looked at other counties, so specifically our surrounding counties, and I'm concerned with, and it might be minutia, but I'm concerned with how this applies to classroom parties. If a teacher sends out a sign-up genius and says, we're having a Valentine's Day party, and can someone donate cupcakes? Can someone donate napkins? Can someone donate a craft for the kids to do? Does that fall under this policy?
Good question.
No, it doesn't, and just so that, and I'm sure you know this as a parent, but the parties are highly defined in that what types of food we can bring in. Cupcakes are a no-no, by the way.
I won't rat out any teachers.
Don't do that. But yes, because we have specific guidelines on nutrition.
Right.
So we have a very scripted, which has been in place with the school, set of protocols, let me say, that we use for classroom parties. Because again, we want to do that. In elementary school, there's traditionally a little bit of a Halloween type of party, a Valentine party, something like that goes on at every elementary school. And the party itself is structured as far as the food, the events. Our parents are wonderful to support our teachers in that way. But we try to keep it again so that one classroom doesn't have everything and another classroom would not have something because there wouldn't be enough means to do that. So we're always concerned about that, and we make sure that every classroom has access to the things that are available. It goes back to the same thing for school supplies. Every parent doesn't have the means to fulfill everything on the wish list of school supplies. Again, you stated that. They're not required supplies. We furnish required supplies, and we would never let a child not have access to the same set of materials. Many parents are so generous that they say, I'm going to donate for my child and another child that's in that room that may not have that kind of means. There's so much generosity within our community and within our school system. The PTOs, the PTAs, they are very supportive. They love to support field trips, for example. And field trips are so essential to a child's experiences. And of course, we call them field experiences now. And they cost a fortune. It's the transportation piece that costs so much. So there's no way that the school system could fully fund field experiences, just the cost of buses. That's where our parents step in. And many of the things that they like to raise money for, the parent groups, is for those kinds of things, those field experiences for the students to be a part of. And so we do that. And again, this doesn't mean that you don't raise donation money, that there are not other fundraisers, as Dr. Campbell alluded to, for specific things, but it's this very tightly specific crowdsource funding, which goes outside the borders of Monongalia County schools, that we cannot safely monitor or ensure equity for all of the students. So
I have
that's
another
it.
example.
Sure.
Every February or January, I get a message from my kids' teachers saying, it's flu season, and we've run out of tissues and we've run out of bleach wipes. Can you please send some in?
And that actually shouldn't happen. We have all of those in our warehouse, and they just need to go to their principal. And I've got all sorts of wipes and tissues now that we purchase every year and maintain in our warehouse, and we provide those to the schools. So now maybe a teacher has, wants to be extra clean. I'm not sure, but we have that all accessible to our schools and our teachers. We furnish that, and that's all part of the fact that we have extra money in an excess levy that supports additional needs like that. It's not just school supplies, it's all the other things that we have in our facilities that we need. So there's a section on the levy ballot which everybody gets to look at very carefully. It's very carefully scripted. Mike has spoken to all of that. So it addresses all the areas that this community supports us, the school system, in every area, above and beyond what the state basic budget has. And if you look at the surrounding districts that don't have that, not only do they not have extra personnel, they don't have the additional money for these supplies that we have. So
I think it is, and I'm glad that we had that clarification, because the way the policy is written is that it's a blanket policy, and I think there needs to be more clarification. I think there needs to be more communication. I also think that there needs to be something that connects parents to the classroom, and I think that a lot of parents, and maybe some people here tonight, feel that it's a morale issue from a parent's perspective as well. I want to contribute. I want to bring those tissues in. I want to contribute, construction paper. I'm trying to think of things that we could contribute. But I...
Which we furnish all that.
What's that?
Which we furnish all that.
Yes, but at the beginning of the school year, these are all suggested things that may run out. I've had to replace my daughter's crayon box multiple times because she's just a colorer. And so I think there is a concern, not just, and it's not a concern about our teachers getting what they need, but I also think there's a connectivity between the community and teachers. And I think that's another thing that we're facing, is that not just why can't I buy these things for my teacher, but maybe I can't make it to the Valentine's Day party. How can I support my teacher in another way? And so from what I'm hearing is parents can support teachers, teachers just cannot ask. Is that correct?
Can I ask a question
Well,
related
they
to
can
this?
ask.
Can I draw the distinction in the
Please,
policy?
because I think that's important.
What the difference is within the school system and the third party.
Yes.
So crowdsourcing is using a third party to get
Yes.
supplies, money, the GoFundMe, the Amazon wish list.
Yes.
That's crowdsourcing. When a teacher or the PTA puts out a wish list for school supplies, that's not crowdsourcing.
So if a teacher in January comes to me and says, I need tissues for my classroom, even though the school district may have some,
It's
is that
legit.
considered, is that,
No, it's fine.
No,
that's fine?
That's fine.
Okay.
And
Okay.
any additional things that you contribute to the school, or parent groups, or parents individually, those are all wonderful. And they're, a lot of schools just say, they're not going to fundraise specifically, because sometimes that becomes burdensome for families. So they will say, would you like to make a donation? And many parents would say, sure, I'd rather just make a one-time donation, and then I don't have to try to approach the grandparents and the aunts and uncles and all the other folks who may have a more limited income. And it becomes difficult for them not to support their grandchild or their niece
Or their 7
nephew.
grandchildren.
Okay.
That's what
Yes.
happens with grandparents. They say,
Well-
I can't give this much to this one because I have
Right.
6 more.
Right.
So it's
But
risky.
all of those kinds of avenues of using donations to the school are welcome and appreciated. Our teachers want to make their rooms, make their classroom, especially elementary teachers. And, when you're working with elementary teachers, they put a lot of effort into making sure their room is inviting, that it's fun, that there's lots of little activities for students. So they want to invest in those kinds of things. We support that 100%. It's above and beyond a paper, a pencil, a notebook, and they all ask for certain kinds of crayons that might be a little more expensive than the box that you purchase at a convenience store. But they ask for those because maybe they last longer or they're better quality. So they will ask for very specific things. But again, if you wish to do that, there is no requirement to do that, and we will make sure that every child in that room has the same sets of materials. So that I can assure you of.
Thank you.
And I will say that if it's something out of the ordinary that they need for it, come to us. I mean, we need to contact you, we'll figure out a way to make it work.
We have so many things in setting up some of our, Chris Urban is here this evening, in setting up our technology innovation labs. I wish you could see what we have in our schools, or through some other funding where we have what we call Zen dens, or calming rooms, or spaces for children. Those are all furnished with additional monies that we get through the excess levy. You'll go to many school systems outside this district, you won't see anything like that, because they don't have those kinds of funds to access, unless maybe they do crowdsource funding. And some systems, as you heard Dr. Campbell say, absolutely do them. They don't have another way to access additional money. But as far as opening the doors for donations to the schools, that is all legitimate. And you just heard Ms. Carradine explain the distinctive difference in using that third party, who I must say is in that because they're going to make money from those donations. And that is a concern. Do we want the money to go to that third party, or just directly to our school and our teachers? So that's a concern that I have, just that I wanted to make sure was clear.
Just reading through the policy, the specific line says the solicitation is typically from a large number of individuals, organizations utilizing internet-based technologies.
Yes.
Is there, and so that, is there an avenue where, let's just say, this Facebook post said, I have millions of dollars to donate to Mon County schools, is there an avenue that that $1 million can get funneled to our PTOs or our LSICs or our whatever, so that
100%.
they can make sure that there is equity in the school and that the teachers are getting what they need for special projects if they don't already have it, and so that it's controlled at a school level for whatever the schools need?
We would love that.
That'd
If
be
someone
awesome.
wants to make $1 million donation, we'll divide it up among the schools.
Great
and
question.
And they can have all of those items here. Again, with the checks and balances, that it is an appropriate item for the school, that it is actually going to the school, and that it is for instructional purposes. No, we're not going to buy boxes of candy, even though, some folks, children might like that. We cannot, that's not for instructional purposes.
And I can speak for Chris in this one, I think. If people are outsourcing technology and then they're going to bring it into the school, either they're A, not going to be able to use it, or
Yes.
B, they're going to ask our tech
Technology.
people to
It
hook
is.
it up to a system, and then we have to worry about outside viruses and different platforms that we're not used to fixing. And so there's like every avenue I think about it, I see the can of worms coming down. So
I think Jennifer hit it head on, the third party. That's the part that
well,
we're worried
it's
about. Because
yeah.
we can't control the third party.
And I hate that word control because I know that that's not what people want to hear. But
No,
the
I'm not
reality
saying
is
control, but-
it's more complicated than just asking for this awesome thing and getting it. And
And I want to reassure the board, again, Jennifer's description is right on the mark. I sign hundreds of fundraising requests from teachers, coaches, administrators, every year. I signed a folder full of them today. I do it every day. And these are fundraising activities that are being conducted by our specific organizations in our schools. So our Morgantown High School cheerleaders are doing a car wash, and they're doing it, not some third-party organization soliciting money for the cheerleading program. The cheerleaders are doing it themselves. And we approve those, we approve hundreds of those every year.
I have another question, if you don't mind. Is there, I know we have all of this documentation, and it's probably more than anybody would ever want. Is there a list somewhere that the public can see, like what our levy actually funds? Because I know it's been a while since we passed the levy.
Sure.
And I'm not sure if the public knows where to go look for it, if those people are interested in knowing where to find that.
It's actually listed on the ballot
It is.
itself.
It is
specifically
outlined on the very
down
ballot.
to the
Right,
cent.
but if you haven't seen it in a
If
while.
you haven't seen it, we can absolutely put
Put it on
that
the
up.
website.
That's a good question,
Yes.
Jen. Yeah, put it out there, because, I mean, I wouldn't know
Sure.
where to find about it.
Right.
Sure, and because we're going to ask again in 2026 to renew our levy. So you're right, it's been 3 years, and I think when you see that, again, it's so finely tuned, and we've worked for years on that to make sure the wording is appropriate, that all the areas are addressed. I do think it's worth having available to revisit that. I even revisit it often for the language,
Yeah.
because that language has been finely edited to make certain that we're doing the right thing legally, and also to make certain that we are addressing all the areas, whether it's athletics or the math and science. We have a special line item in that for math and science materials, as well as general classroom materials and consumable materials. All the instructional materials that we go. We always purchase, for example, this year is math, and this board supported the math adoption. We didn't buy the basic tier 1. We buy for our teachers everything. Those manipulatives that you saw, that doesn't come with the basic package for math. But our teachers need those, and
They
they
ask
want
for
them.
them.
And they ask for them, and we have purchased that for them, because it's an important part of the instructional process here. Again, money makes a big difference in education, and I never would not say that. You have to have money in order to provide the first-class type of education that we do.
And just so the public knows, I mean, on top of the faculty senate money that teachers get, they get money for their classrooms in the spring to spend.
Yes.
for the fall so that they can stock their classrooms. Every school has an allocated pot of money for arts, pot of money for sciences, pot of money for math, pot of money. They just need, if they have a project, they can go to their administrator and ask for whatever to be purchased for their special project. So there is a lot of money out there. And in fact, I was perusing Facebook just trying to find the.
Did your wheels fall off?
No. I only came across one Mon County person asking for something through Amazon, and their comment was something along the line of, I'm very blessed in my classroom, but why not join the bandwagon? And I was like, oh, well, we need that. So I don't know, I didn't go further to see what they were looking for, but we're blessed in Mon County, so.
I would just want to add something. I would say the teachers who need the most are the ones that have the least, that's the new hires. Some of us who were first-year teachers, I think I got a bag of dry rotted rubber bands and a pencil without an eraser, an ink pen that didn't work.
High school social studies in
Yeah, and you don't
1960.
they don't get that money until October, correct? After the second month report, that's when faculty senate money can be released. Help me out
It's
with
at the
that.
end of September.
That is when faculty senate money is released.
Is there, and there's probably, is there anything, are we tied by the state?
They might
Can
have
we
money.
provide first-year teachers with some money?
Dan,
Up
could
front.
I address that? Because, I realize it might have been a while since you were a first-year teacher.
Oh, it's been quite a while.
Much like myself, and you're right, there was no funding available. Through our, what Sandy DeVault does here, which is leading the first-year teacher, the new teacher program, we do give extra money too, because you're so right on that.
And they
New
get it right
teachers,
away, like,
they-
right?
Yes.
Oh, good, that's good. I didn't know that.
Two
So that's
times a year.
Yeah.
good.
And
Good.
so you're right, those are the teachers that need more.
Right.
So we've been able to do that, again, that's through the levy, and the whole program for mentoring and teacher induction. So we don't only provide them help as far as instruction, but help with materials. That's part of that as well.
So let me touch on a few things here. The faculty senate, excuse me, the teachers each get their $300.
Yes.
But if the faculty senate decides to, okay, we want to increase that, they have the ability to do that
They do.
without coming to us. And so it's, once we give them that money, they have,
They
as long as they
control.
use it on educational,
As long as it's
but they
for
can maneuver it
instructional
around and put it
support.
wherever they want it, so it's, they don't have to come back to us. But, and then the other thing I was going to say is they do can carry over funds, but for what, 2 years? 3?
In faculty senate,
Yeah.
they continue to carry it over.
They could-
Okay.
There is
Oh, yeah.
no,
Each individual teacher receives their allocation. At the end of the year, if that allocation still remains there, or there's anything left, those accounts are swept and they're put into the
General fund.
faculty senate fund in the school.
Right,
At-
okay.
At the beginning of the next school year, the faculty senate decides, they vote as to whether they will redistribute whatever the funds were that were left over. So instead of it being a $300 allocation, they may decide that they're going to give $400. I did speak with a couple of teachers as well, and a couple of the teachers said to me, reminded me that several of the schools actually vote to give new teachers a bigger allocation of faculty senate money because they're new. And they need more supplies for their classroom. Certainly, I think all of our schools and our teachers are thinking of the beginning teachers. But our teachers do have control over those funds as to how they're allocated annually.
Yeah.
And they can carry that money over. It can
I
compile.
wasn't sure how long they could carry this. So if they had a 3 years out, we want to do this,
Yes.
they can store their money up,
Yes.
so to speak, and do a big science, whatever, or, pick whatever it is.
And the funds they get, and Ms. Hegarty just already referred to that, in the spring, every teacher gets an allocation from this excess levy amount, and we've even separated it out, and I heard you refer to it. The art teachers get their own section of money. The music teachers get their own section. The phys ed teachers get their own section of money. Band, and of course, as orchestra, which we, by the way, increased this year. We added additional funds to the orchestra allocation because we had heard, again, from some of our families that perhaps that wasn't sufficient, and it's never more than enough. We know what musical instruments cost. So is it always going to be able to buy all new instruments every year? Of course not. Same thing with band. But we have major amounts of money going to all of those areas. Plus the general teacher gets anywhere, depending on the size of the school, anywhere from $300, $350 to say, okay, this is mine, I'm going to order it, it'll be here before the end of school, so I will have it on day one. And that's something we've been very conscious of doing, and that goes through Nicole's department to make sure those orders are placed and that they are in the hands of the teachers on day one.
The other thing I wanted to touch base on, you talked about the levy for 2026. Should scoot up here to the microphone. This is a great time for the public to be thinking what they would like to see in that levy and bring those issues, not issues, but if there was something else that they wanted to for us to look at to put on the levy. So thoughts, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the? I think we've covered it. I guess the bottom line is there's money out there. They just need to ask for it, and we give the students everything they need. That's not to say we give them everything they want. It's everything they need. And if there's something special that a teacher wants to do, he has means of doing that. So. Good. No other comments? All right. Thanks for all the clarification on that. So now we're going to move into delegations. And I have to read the, so that everybody, the legal side of it. Speakers are requested to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect of the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. While it's not our intent to stifle public comment, speakers should be aware that your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation and invasion of privacy. You may be held legally responsible. If you are unsure of the legal ramifications of what you're about to say, we urge you to consult your legal advisor. Okay. And it's policy 0169, public participation in board meetings states that you may speak for no more than 5 minutes if there are 12 or fewer delegations, which we have less than 12. Then it doesn't apply now, but if it was more than that, then the amount of the 60 minutes would be divided above all the speakers. Also noted is its public comment is not open dialogue among the board members and the speaker. The board members will not answer questions posed to them from a speaker or comment on speaker's concerns. In short, there will be no verbal interaction from the board members during or after the speaker's comments. And that kind of a highlight of that, we're not allowed to get into negotiations. So if one of the board members would be back and forth with a question and then I'm asking back and forth, all of a sudden we're debating something that may or may not be on the agenda. We're not legally not allowed to do that. So, with that said,
I just want to add to that in case you didn't catch it. There's no open dialogue, so it makes us feel weird. You know, we like to respond sometimes, but the policy is there's no open dialogue. That's why you won't hear back.
yeah. So first speaker is Sophia Ferreira. Ferreira, okay. Good. Yes, we'll see you. Could you please state your name and
Sophia Edwina Ferreira Adamo.
thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen that make up the Board of Education, the crowdfunding law that prohibits teachers from using online resources to gather the necessary equipment and supplies for their classroom is ridiculous and absurd. I say this because if the district or Board of Education itself cannot supply the necessary equipment or supplies, the teachers should be able to ask others for donations through common online sources such as Amazon List and Donors Choose without penalty. When I was not but an embryo in my mother's womb, she was a teacher in this county. My mother utilized the online resources donors choose to raise enough money to purchase math tools and supplies and new technology for her classroom. She also had to take pictures of this to make sure that she was using it correctly and for the correctly. This benefited all her students for that year and in the years to come. I know that my parents have supported classrooms in the past to help teachers acquire supplies, games, and other things to help their classroom be more fun and engaging. By creating and enforcing the crowdfunding law, you are essentially restricting, perhaps altogether eliminating, supplies, tools, technology, and other necessary objects that could enhance and engage students beyond what is made available from the Board of Ed and teachers' salaries. Why should students' learning be diminished because of the Board of Education does not want to look bad for being able to supply what is needed? I thought you were here to help students achieve success. How does this law help students and teachers achieve success? It doesn't. All it does is continue to place the burden on teachers to fund their classrooms beyond what they can afford. If you are truly here to help students, then do away with this law and allow teachers to do what is necessary to provide for and create the best learning environment for their students. As a young activist and Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai said, "One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world." I hope that this one child with her one pen and one speech will help convince you to overturn this law. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Sophie. Good job. Next, we have Rebecca Aranda.
She had to leave. I have her statement. If I am permitted to read it, it's up to you. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it's Catherine Fuller.
Hi, my name is Catherine Fuller, and I am the parent of a 4th grade student here in Mon County. I want to start by thanking you, the board members, and Dr. Campbell for allowing us the opportunity to discuss the policy about teachers sharing a wish list for classroom materials. Your fast response to this has not gone unnoticed. I thank you for the opportunity to speak as a parent and on behalf of several friends who are teachers here in Mon County. Before the topic came up, I was unaware of the budget for classrooms across Mon County. And I did a little research of my own so that I could fully understand the scope of the matter. I asked a handful of teachers across the county what was allocated for the classroom supplies from the county. And I was told that it was $300. I assumed that was per student. And I was shocked when I learned that it was $300 per classroom. I asked if there was any other channels of funding for classroom supplies and learned that teachers do receive funding from the Faculty Senate, but that amount varies school to school. Here is an example that I was given for the breakdown of one classroom here in Mon County. $300 from the county, $150 from Faculty Senate, giving the teacher $450 to spend for the year. Now, if that teacher has 25 students, that breaks down to $18 per student for the year for supplies. There are 180 days of school in the school year. That is 10 cents a day for materials in our classrooms. 10 cents a day. That's what our teachers are working with. Now, you guys cannot solve budget problems with a snap of a finger or the blink of an eye. There are a couple other issues that go with this. I learned that the $300 allocated must be spent in the spring well before any teacher knows the number of students that will be in their classroom, and it must be used with one of 2 vendors. So I looked. The price for a 24-pack of Crayola crayons that we can get at Walmart for 50 cents is $2.39 through one of these 2 suppliers, meaning our teachers are spending more and receiving less. I've heard over and over that teachers are spending more out of pocket now than ever before. This is not new by any means, and some have told me that the last time that budgets for supplies in the classrooms was addressed was in the late 90s. Online learning tools have been a staple of learning for the past several years and have opened young minds to new and exciting lessons, be it science, reading, history, or math. Students have had the opportunity to read books and speak with the author in real time online, asking questions and learning in a fun and creative way. Lessons like this are unique and will stay with the students far beyond the dismissal bell ringing at the end of the day. Dr. Campbell, you yourself had been quoted in an article when you first joined the board that you believed adaptation with the times will be critical with moving forward. Reading about a science experiment is not as helpful as actually conducting one. Our teachers sometimes lack the materials to conduct these experiments, and that is where a wish list comes in handy. What's the difference between a wish list and a sign-up genius? They're getting materials into the classrooms. Teachers should not carry the financial burden alone, especially when many in the community would be willing to help, but we're not permitted to do so. Teachers are not asking for laptops. They're asking for crayons, markers, glue, dry erase markers, books, finger paint. Making a donation is a personal choice. Why limit the access to resources when you have a community choosing to help? If a teacher has the ability to share a wish list online to their social media community, others would have the choice to help out. And it has a ripple effect of positive change.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. Next is Chrissy Dennis.
Thank you for the opportunity to address you guys about this matter. I approach it a little differently. I did bring something. I'm just going to read it so that I don't stumble. So thank you, Board, for the opportunity to address you about the policy 6605 this evening. My name is Christina Dennis, and I teach pre-K at Brookhaven Elementary School. The topic of crowdfunding, namely sharing Amazon wish lists, in my case, with friends and families, is an important one not just for teachers in the classroom, but for the school communities as a whole. Crowdfunding and wish lists are not an indicator of underfunded classrooms necessarily, but they're an opportunity for parents and community to invest in our schools at a very intentional level. I'm thrilled with the number of materials and funding I received during the year for my classroom, but because Mon County contracts with select vendors, which is normal for school districts to do, there are items that we can't purchase unless we spend our own money, and we do so begrudgingly for the students and for the families. With crowdfunding and wish lists through family and community donations, we are able to expand our science centers, increase the diversity of our math manipulatives, and enhance our class libraries. And those are just a few of the benefits of local community input and wish lists for the classroom. More importantly, it allows families to contribute to their child's learning in a very unique way. When families are vested in their child's classroom, they are also vested in their child's school. It is a huge win for our children. When our families and our schools partner even in the smallest ways, it is a huge win for our children. I know this because I have had some of the most generous families support learning in my pre-K classroom through voluntary contributions. So I would ask you to please reconsider and find a way to revise the policy, which listening to you guys, I understand why it's in place and I understand the pros and cons of crowdfunding. But if there's a way you can revise the policy, it would really support not only our teachers, but our families' ability to support their children in the classroom, and it would support our students as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ness. Next is Brad Calandrelli.
Hi, my name is Brad Calandrelli, and It's my daughter who is the one that started this process, and so I thought, support my daughter, I should speak. But in Monongalia County, the dedication of our teachers is evident as they work tirelessly to educate and inspire the next generation. However, the challenge of insufficient school materials in many classrooms hinders their ability to provide high-quality education every child deserves. To address this issue, allowing the public to engage in crowdfunding for school supplies presents a significant opportunity to enhance educational outcomes. Crowdfunding taps into the collective resources and goodwill of the community, provides a platform where parents, alumni, local businesses, and concerned citizens can contribute directly to the needs of our schools. When a community rallies together to support the schools, it sends a powerful message to students. Their education matters, and they are supported by the whole community. For teachers, the benefits are immediate and profound. With the necessary resources at their disposal, they can implement more engaging and effective lesson plans and create a stimulating learning environment for their students. No longer will they need to reach into their own pockets, which many of the teachers do, to fill the gaps left by budget restraints. This not only reduces the financial burden on teachers, but also allows them to focus more primarily on teaching the students. From a broader perspective, crowdfunding for school materials can help alleviate some of the financial burdens on the Monongalia County Board of Education. Crowdfunding can also spark innovation. Teachers could propose specific projects or needs, such as science lab equipment, art supplies, or technology enhancements, allowing donors to choose which initiatives they wish to support. The targeted approach ensures that contributions are not just a blanket solution, but are directly addressing the specific needs of the individual classrooms. I realize there are potential risks to the school and the county if crowdfunding is not handled properly. However, with established policies, such as those that exist in other states that do allow crowdfunding, it could have a substantial impact for our students. Allowing crowdfunding from school materials in Monongalia County is not just filling the gap in resources, it's about empowering the students, engaging the community, and ultimately providing the students with their best possible education. By leveraging the collective power of our community, we can ensure that every child has the access to the tools they need to succeed. And on a side note, I know that the state allocates monies to the counties based on students enrolled. Is that correct? I assume that is correct. With more students being homeschooled and going to private schools, the counties will be receiving less money per student. But you still have fixed costs, so it's going to be more of a strain on your budgets. This could help alleviate some of that constraints. And as far as the policies, many states have policies in place. I looked them up. A lot of them are very similar. You could use that as a basis for establishing policies for our county. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Calendarelli. Next up, all boils down to school performances and student outcome academics.
Folks here?
Everyone is here, yes.
Oh, okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about this evening is kind of a debrief on Summer Avalanche. Super successful this year. I'm not going to go into it because I want our folks to present that information. So we have with us Susan Taylor, Brian Keel, Tony Harris, and Jason Lenhart are each going to talk a little bit about their piece
For me to grab them?
of Summer Avalanche. Yeah, where are they? Oh, okay. All right. But they're going to debrief the board on how this summer went. So. I've already introduced you, Susan.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
As in baseball, you're on deck.
So I'll introduce myself again. So Susan Taylor, coordinator of community. So I'm the coordinator of student programming and community resources. So that entails the before and after schools. visitors and volunteers, communities and schools, United Way, and then what we're here for tonight, the summer programming. Specifically, we're going to talk about Summer Avalanche. But first, I'm going to talk about the history of the summer programming that Monongalia County Schools has offered. A little bit about Summer Sizzler, and then the rest of the presentation will be about Summer Avalanche. The enrollment, the attendance, transportation, and meals. So we have Brian, Tony, and Jason here to help with that, and then transition programs. So a little bit about our history of the summer programs that we've offered. We started in 2014 when we had a lot of snow days that year, and we needed a way to recoup some of our lost learning days. We had like 18 snow days that year. So it started off with library time at about 8 locations for only 2 hours a day. Each year it expanded a little bit more to include some enrichment activities. In 2016, we started Summer Sizzler. Now, early on, this looked a little different. It was one-day event at the school for community engagement. It entailed celebrity readers, sometimes teachers, but it always had students leaving with a book or some sort of a snack. We even dedicated our free little libraries one year that we still utilize today. Then in 2021, we were expanded to Summer Avalanche. So we were able to go full day, right? All day long, morning, afternoon, able to offer breakfast and lunch and transportation. And this year we're super excited because we're celebrating our 10th year. So we'll start off with Summer Sizzler. So it's, again, it looked a little bit different, but for the past 4 years we're going to do cool buses. So we have 4 buses going around the community, and what I love about this one so much and makes this one unique is that we're going out to the community. We're not asking them to come into the school for a family event like we do during the school year. So we have 4 buses going around the county providing high quality literature and snacks. This year was a record-breaking year for us. Even though it's the 4th year, sometimes you see a decline. Not this year. We had 1,600 students served. It was quite amazing. I was a little worried the first day when we had over 400 or 500. And then the first year, just to give you some numbers, the first year that we did the cool buses, it was 700, a little like 755. The next year was a little over 1,000. So pretty excited about this. As you can see, we do school stops, but we also do the community stops. What's super exciting about this is that over the 4 years, we've done we've provided 17,000 books to our students and families. So that's increasing their at-home libraries, which we know increases academic success and vocabulary development. Would you guys like to say anything about Sizzler?
I'd like to highlight quickly just the opportunity that we have to provide food for our community this year, and it starts early on. It starts in April, where we put out to bid for the food that we serve to the community from the school buses. And a local West Virginia company won a bid. It was for $42,000, and it was for 1,200 food boxes. You can see a picture of it up there. Each one had 12 Pop-Tarts, 12 juices, 12 beef sticks, 12 fruit cups, and then 12 cookies. And so they came in to the bus garage. If you've ever been to the bus garage, it took 2 semis to come in. It fills one whole bus bay. I have 18 pallets of all the food. Luckily, we have wonderful mechanics that just are so helpful with forklifts to get all the food off, and then we put it on the buses. This year we also, I contacted the Mountaintop Beverage, the CEO there, and they donated 5 pallets full of shelf-stable milk. And so that was just provided as an option of whoever wanted it, and that turned out to be 18,000 half pints of milk that we provided. So it's a huge, we couldn't do it without the bus drivers and the bus garage and the space that we just take it over, and we're so grateful for that. So that's just a little snapshot about the food that's provided during Sizzler.
So now we're going to talk about Summer Avalanche. So over the years, this is our 4th year of Summer Avalanche. You can see in year 1 we had 1,600 students. We increased to 1,800 students. And then the last 2 years we've had 2,300 students. So to talk a little bit more about enrollment, I'll break it down by session. One thing that makes Summer Avalanche so successful is the flexibility for our families, the students, and the teachers. That's what makes it so successful with the participation and attendance. So Summer Avalanche is broken down into 2 sessions. Session 1's the first 2 weeks, Session 2 is the last 2 weeks. So students have the option of attending just 2 weeks, the first session or second session, or all 4 weeks. This gives you a snapshot of what they prefer. Most families prefer to attend all 4 weeks, but giving this option allows them flexibility to go to other camps or to participate in other learning opportunities and family vacations. Again, with the flexibility, we offer morning and afternoon programs, so students can choose to come in the morning only, the afternoon only, or all day. Same thing goes with the teachers when they're teaching the programs, but you can see the majority of our families and students choose to attend all day long versus before or morning and afternoon. This is great for students who are involved in extracurriculars like band, clubs, and any athletic events. They can still participate in Summer Avalanche. So elementary enrollment and attendance. Overall, elementary increased this year by 122 students. This is a breakdown, but if you look in the pamphlets that I've provided, use a breakdown of every school so you can see their attendance. There's the total attendance and then the daily average. A few that I've highlighted here is Brookhaven with 100 students attending across the 15 days on average. And then Suncrest Elementary, I call that our heavy hitter. They had on average 142. Their highest day, they had 160 students. And then one I would really like to spotlight is Mountain View because they had the highest increase in the daily average for elementary. So last year, their daily average was 63. This year, they increased it by 35 students, making it just under the 100 mark at 98. Like elementary, our middle increased by 111 students this year. Every middle school saw an increase in their daily average. So one I would love to spotlight is Suncrest Middle because not only did they have the highest daily average increase for middle school, but they also had it for elementary and middle. So if you look, their average was 60 this year. Last year it was 19. So that was an increase of 41 students per day. So I would like to highlight transportation, again, because it's Summer Avalanche and all day, we do offer transportation to and from designated summer stops. Jason and Tony are a huge part in that and helping us get that underway. So this is just a snapshot of, again, remember they have the opportunity just to come in the morning or afternoon, but you can see overall, over half of our students, just right at 1,300 students, utilize the transportation services. In the green are those that are car riders. Do you want anything to add anything? So nutrition, we offer free breakfast and lunch every day. This is a breakdown of the weeks. When you're looking at this is also in your pamphlet. Remember that week 1 is 3 days. We do Monday through Thursday, but the first week usually has the July 4th holiday, so it's only 3 days that week. Overall, for breakfast, we served 8,557 breakfast kits, and that's an average of 570 a day. Breakfast kits are just like the ones that we serve during the school year, so that is a cereal, a fruit juice, milk, and an extra grain, which is typically like Cheez-Its. For lunch, we did 13,640 meals with an average of 909 meals served a day. You're up.
Again, I just want to highlight what it takes to serve the lunches and breakfast during Avalanche. We start with 10 cooks at a central location at Suncrest Middle School at 8:30 in the morning. By 9:30, over approximately 1,000 meals are already fixed. And then we get the count. Each school communicates with Susan on how many meals they need, and that communication then goes to the cooks, and then they take the food and take it to the schools and serve it on the serving line like it would be a normal school day. They go through the serving line and they pick up their food. And I also want you to notice the menu. From chicken and waffles to fresh fruits and vegetables, hamburgers, pizza. All these are provided each and every day where they get a hot meal during lunch and then breakfast. When the students come in, come into the building, they're provided if they want a breakfast kit with milk as well, and they can take that to their classroom and eat.
So the transition programs that are unique to Summer Avalanche we have 3: Get Set Sam, Ready Freddy, and 6th grade boot camp. Get Set Sam is in its 3rd year that we have started it. It was offered at 5 elementary schools this year, and that is for rising pre-K students. What is super exciting about this is for students who have possibly never been in school before. So they're getting exposed to not only their school, but riding the school bus, eating breakfast, going through the lunch service line, and all those things on a much smaller scale with fewer students than when it starts in August. This is not just good for the students. You wouldn't believe how many parents that we hear from that it helps them get their jitters out. So when school starts in August, they're confident and their child is confident. Ready Freddy is just like Get Set Sam, but it's for rising kindergarten students. So they come in and they mirror a kindergarten day, what the routines are for typical kindergartners, and that daily activities like calendar time, rug time, read alouds, and those things. Again, preparing them for the first day of school, but on a much smaller scale. Imagine being your first few days of school and you're getting to see people that you recognize. You can see the principal that you've already met, the teachers, and you already have built friendships with your peers. The newest one is 6th grade boot camp. This is the 2nd year of implementation for that. And just like the others, these are students who are going to be new to their middle school. So they get to practice, like you see here, logging in, doing their combinations to get into their lockers. They're doing team building activities. They're practicing with the bell schedule. And they also leave with some school merch that they're always very excited about. So in your pamphlet, you'll see, I've said this earlier, that we offer over 230 programs. This is very small. I could talk about it all day, but there's a very small sampling of what we offer during Summer Avalanche at the elementary level. What makes Summer Avalanche so successful is we provide students the opportunity to engage with reading, writing, and math, and high interest, engaging programs that are all developed by our teachers. They propose these programs in February and they teach them in the summer. So they look just like you see the little girl here sewing. We have STEM activities. You can see the Minecraft, and you have a lot of fitness activities. What's exciting is the same activities that we think our students are not doing because we have so much use of technology at home and even at school are our most successful ones. Board games, cooking, fitness, woodworking, and as you can see, sewing. We've had that for the past couple of years. This allows students the opportunity to engage in those 21st century skills of communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Same thing goes for our middle schools, and both are overlapping with the soft skills of every day they're able to build their confidence, decision making, team building, practicing the ability to adapt, and practicing perseverance. So just looking at some of our middle school activities here, you can see that we have some pottery classes. Again, with the sewing, we had students that certified in CPR at Suncrest Middle. We had rocketry at Westwood. We had woodworking, and then our ever popular fitness ones, where this was volleyball with goal setting. So not only are they doing the 21st century skills that they need for future career and college readiness, they are building the relationships that are going to keep them in school with their peers, with their teachers, and with the school community itself. And we're also the added feature of enhancing our climate and culture of our schools and sense of community. So Summer Avalanche is possible because of all the departments we have in this building and outside of the building, like our transportation. It's just like school. We offer all the same supports that we do during the school year and the summer. So if we have IEPs, if we have medical needs, food restriction and dietary, we get those every morning, and we make special meals for every child that we know that is eating that day. So it's a huge endeavor, but totally worthwhile. And at the school level, we have site coordinators at each of our schools that are the point of contact for everything. They are hired in January. They start recruiting and making schedules in February, helping plan the programs, ordering the programs, all before we get out of school in June. And then when July comes, they're there to help with everything. They're serving breakfast, they're taking lunch counts, they're taking attendance, they're talking to parents, they're talking to the transportation office, and they're even helping with the medical needs and managing the staff and the students at the same time. So as you can see, it's a huge team effort and one that we're very proud of in Monongalia County. And if you have any questions.
And it's rated G.
Yes.
For all audiences.
Exactly.
Great job. You know, I know Christina spoke about it, last meeting, and her and I both have children in schools, and this is awesome. It's been completely awesome from the teachers who give their time in the summer all the way down to Tony, Jason at the bus garage, and Brian Hill with nutrition, and you, of course. So we appreciate you. This is fantastic.
One thing I like too is the time of it. It's kind of like in the middle of their summer. So
Oh yeah, it's perfect
just
timing
perfect.
because we typically get out of school in May now. So we do June and we have Summer Sizzler, which is our community engagement that we do. And then July, Summer Avalanche, and then we start back in August. So we're really hitting each of our summer months with something.
Can I ask, any student who wants to do Summer Avalanche can do it?
Yes.
Okay, so there isn't a limit on space?
No.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I know I treat it, I do sign my children up for Summer Avalanche. I treat it as like the hottest concert ticket in town.
Yes.
So I am on my computer registering at 7 a.m.
I used to say that same thing. It was
Yes.
like registering for your favorite concert and trying to get in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful to know. That's
Yeah.
wonderful to know because I think a lot of parents don't realize that. They think once it's 9 a.m., everything's gone.
Yes.
So I think that's
they
wonderful.
fill up very quick, especially the ones that I shared, like the culinary, the fitness ones. I mean, we have people, even though we say it's the same session as repeated session 2, we'll have kids that sign up for Fit Kids at Ridgedale all 4 sessions.
Wonderful.
And then
Wonderful. And thank you for your programming. It's just so great.
It's a pleasure to do. It's fun. Actually, my whole job is fun because it's a little bit of extra of everything I do is extra. So extra is always fun.
And you're always extra excited about
Yes.
it too. Any other questions, comments? So,
Dr. Campbell, yes.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Thank
we've
you.
got it
All
covered.
right.
We brought you in here to present, but on behalf of the Board of Education, we also want to recognize your service this summer and the great work you do. So Mr. Kelly's going to hand these out in recognition of your work this summer. So thank you all.
Yes.
one of Dr. Campbell has the pleasure of announcing that. This is what makes our school system so special.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, next is, we got here, get back on track here. Reports, discussion, follow-up action. Have a presentation.
Yes, we're going to call Angela Hayes to the podium. She is going to talk to the board this evening about our 2024-25 cell phone guidelines and answer any questions that our board may have. She will be supported this evening as well by our high school principals. Mrs. Green is here, Mr. Mahalko is here, Mr. Channel is here, our newest member, so we're putting him on the hot seat right away. And Mr. Dosh is here this evening, so they're here to help answer any questions the board may have related to our new cell phone guidelines for the beginning of the school year. So, Angela, it's all yours.
Thank you for inviting me. I think this is a great time to share an update on adolescent research that is occurring across the United States. It's also an exciting time to put our students' learning while being first by supporting this cell phone-free learning environment that Dr. Campbell was speaking about. So a lot of questioning from researchers nowadays, is social media a major contributor to the rise of adolescent anxiety and depression? We have definitely seen an increase over time. I'm going to show you a little bit of statistics about that across the United States, but there definitely is a change in the amount or the prevalence of anxiety and depression symptoms, especially for our Generation Z students, and those are students who are born after 1995, specifically depression and anxiety. There's also a little bit of gender differences, so some gender data explains that girls spend more time on social media than boys spending more time gaming. There's a lot of studies that have grouped up over the past, say, 15 years and drawing some correlations. So does this not necessarily cause this, but are these two things tied together? And there is some conclusions drawn that some, say, mild social media use does seem to have no major effect on overall well-being, but the moment we creep into some moderate use, and that could be as little as 4 or 5 hours a day, a major effect can take place for our students. There's also a conclusion that younger teen girls seem to be the happiest prior to or before 2010, but now are those group of students who are really the most unhappy in their lives, which is kind of a sad statistic. So here's a little bit of the research that has been present day from anxiety researchers that truly something happened to our youth, and the mental health crisis that has been explained over time, especially with anxiety prevalence. You can see it is color coded, but right around 2008, 2010. Still the flip phones and still the analog phones existed. You can still see the horizontal lines exist. But then the anxiety prevalence of our adolescents started to increase, and especially increased for those ages 18 to 25. It's a little blurry, but 139% increase since that time. And that really was the rise of social media and smartphones, and you can really see the increase. The kind of static line are those ages 50 plus. There's even a slight decrease of anxiety-related symptoms for that age group, and then a little less incline for ages 35 to 49. So just a slight increase over time. But it's really affecting our Generation Z students and our millennial students. So a little name dropping here. There is a social psychologist that is gaining popularity, and his name is Dr. Jonathan Haidt. He's really leading a lot of the anxiety research for our students and tying everything back to social media. He has written a book that is, New York Times bestseller called The Anxious Generation, and really. Our deputy superintendent brought this to my attention. She's an avid reader when it comes to educational research and such, so I kind of dive deep into his speeches and his spotlight on students with anxiety. Even though I'm clearly involved with students who have mental health concerns in schools, it was good to see all of the background research all in one book. So just a couple statistics that are important. He noted by 2015, 1 in 5 American teen girls using social media more than 40 hours a week, and that seems huge, and only 8-9 years ago. But as of last year, more than 46% of teens reporting being online almost all of the time, and that does not have just, a waking hour. That is 24 hours a day being online almost all of the time. So this researcher talks about quite a few parallels, and one is the decline of play-based childhood, really saying that it's kids spending less time with one another, playing, enjoying social interactions, not being tied to a device all hours of the day. As we can all remember, we had pretty much a play-based childhood whenever we were kids.
And during the same time, it was the kind of the rise of the phone-based childhood that affects children's mental health. This researcher also believes that's deeply affecting their sleep and their exercise, truly believing most children have some sleep deprivation issues also. So it's also becoming like a public health concern. It's important that everybody, even in politics, are wanting to keep our children safe online and making it a priority. Many of you might have seen just really about a month ago, the U.S. Surgeon General called for social media platforms to include health warnings for younger users, just like, cigarettes and certain caffeinated beverages. Certain things have warnings for certain people with, age limits or health conditions. That this has become a really big push for people in power, and our U.S. Surgeon General is really concerned with student mental health, calling it a crisis among young people, and it definitely is an emergency, saying that social media has emerged as an important contributor. So he also mentioned a little about schools, what schools can do to ensure classroom learning and social time are phone-free experiences, saying that having parents on board to create some phone-free zones around bedtime and meals, really trying to make social gatherings be that important place again where people can have some real-life connections. So very important. So here in Mon County, we, just like other districts and other countries even, having a cell phone ban or cell phone free environment, really believe that a lot of great things are going to happen. Phone-related behavior incidences should decrease. We believe our students are going to have that more talkative, that collaborative time with one another and their students and their faculty. Authentic interactions with students and staff, not just that quick lift your head up from a phone and answer a quick yes or no and put your head back down to a phone. We expect great grades, improvement in grades and academic test scores, less distraction, increased time on task. And we really think our students are going to feel the same, a little bit more of a sense of safety and a sense of having that connection with their school, that meaningful school life. And lastly, just knowing that the cell phone-free learning environment is just the beginning. We expect a lot more positives to outweigh concerns. I'm sure we're going to have some concerns, student concerns, parent concerns. But we know that schools are going to help decrease that time that students are spending on social media that is really connected to that overall mental health concern we're seeing across the United States. And just, as kind of an aside, we know that students have anxiety for other reasons and depression for other reasons, social media being a contributing factor. We do have a lot of other supports in our schools available for our students. Our student support continuum offers a lot and a lot of referral options for our students. So this kind of is a great new beginning, and we're excited to see all the positives. And we're really excited for our school to get back to that, warm community, humanity, social interaction place that kind of we remember it to be. So I think this was a great time to talk about the research, and then, talk about the plan. Donna had asked me to bring a couple we're having a few book studies with this book, so we're going to extract a lot of meaningful pieces from research on anxiety.
So if I could add a little context here this evening, as a precursor to what we're doing and what we have already done, I want to signal out to Ms. Hicks, who is here for another reason this evening, but Suncrest Middle and South Middle, and they've already shared some of their experiences with this board, but we did pilot the cell phone-free environment at the middle schools very successfully at Suncrest Middle and South. The other two schools, three schools actually, did it partially, but it was highly successful. And when reported both by parents and students, the students felt less anxious because they didn't need to worry about the device during the day. Our teachers felt that the distractions were decreased, and certainly our administrators did not have to deal with episodes that occurred when students were involved in some sort of behaviors that were not appropriate because they were using a cell phone. So the success of that prompted us to go deeper with that, and Sandy DeVault has worked very carefully with the student, with not only the administrators, but administrators working with the students. So we have made a step forward by investing in, which is board supported, a device to maintain the safety of those phones during the day. I wanted you to be able to see that this evening. While Sandy gets that ready, I did want to offer, yes, I do a lot of research, a lot of reading, and Dr. Jonathan Haidt is the leading person right now who I believe has not only the research behind what he's saying, but the good common sense about what's causing all of this anxiety. And he very much advocates for us to be cell phone free, take that anxiety away from our students, and also advocating for our small children to have time to play, which is play-based, which is what our pre-K is all about. But we need to have that opportunity at the elementary even more than what we already do. So if you're interested, because this is a book I'm going to be doing with our folks, I'm happy to have a copy for you this evening if you'd like to have that. Some of it is very textbook, and some of it is just very good information to have. So I think it would help any of us in our journey to understand why we're doing what we're doing here. Our principals have already done a lot of work. Sandy has worked very carefully with them. We're ready to roll this out system-wide. So this will affect every school in Monongalia County. And again, it is a set of protocols, which our middle schools have already done and done successfully. But it will impact the elementary, which, believe it or not, there are issues there. And certainly our high school students where we've experienced those. So our administrators are here. They can answer direct questions for you this evening as far as anything that's happening and how it's happening. But I did want you to see, because it's something I thought was strange to begin with, the device, and the company is Yonder. It is a company that's being used throughout the country, actually, and they have an excellent device to store safely cell phones during the day, and students bring them in, they put them in this safe pouch, and they leave with that pouch at the end of the day. Now, we also have contingencies for medical situations. This is not a smartwatch tonight, but we are not going to ask students to not have their smartwatches because they can't use social media on it. But we do have medical issues, and we want to have access to those when we need those. I guess all of the kinks and all of the issues have been worked out by Ms. Hicks, Ms. Brown over the past year. So we feel pretty secure now in moving forward. So that combined with the research and the timing, and you can see our state is looking at a policy, but many surrounding states already have adopted this statewide as an issue. And Monongalia County always wants to make sure we're doing the right thing for our students. So I wanted to bring those two things to your attention and entertain any specific questions that you may have.
Angela, I had a comment. I think it was some of the stuff that you sent, or maybe I read it somewhere else, that this is from 2019 to 2021, the suspected suicide attempts were up 51% for girls, 4% for boys. Did I read that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that research came as from the CDC, and the U.S. Surgeon General is the same Surgeon General from 21 as he is now in 24, making the same claim that we need to do something with social media and to decrease the availability, making those, trying to even make social media companies make changes to the algorithms, and then the warnings. They're really trying to stop not just exposure,
but exposure leading to addiction and so many student behaviors that are really self-destructive. But yeah, it's the same Surgeon General that reported on both years those very serious statistics.
Maybe there was a mention in there about career tech exploration. Can you kind of address that a little bit?
Right, and actually that Dr. Jonathan Haidt mentioned how we can help boys explore different options too, because they're becoming so entrenched in gaming and online usage, and it's about safety also. So being safe and getting offline and doing things like that.
Awesome.
And this is the device. I mean, it's just weird looking to me, but that's what
Okay.
happens with that.
Phone down in it, and the students lock the phone in it, like that. So we'll be checking to make sure that the device you can feel it in there. I know that the principals have played with this quite a bit as well. And then mounted at exits, there is this magnetic device. There's also a handheld device that if they get to the bus and they think, oh no, I didn't unlock my phone, the principals have access to handheld ones. You just put it down. Help me, Kim. There.
There it is.
And then it unlocks. This is the medical pouch that is just, the students put their phone in there, but is accessible to the students.
So they take it to the classroom with them?
They
wherever-
take this with them, they go home with it, they bring it back, and it will be a matter of, just as we've gone through our detectors in the morning, it's practice, and so our teachers will make sure that that there's a device in there and that it is locked, and we'll do that in the beginning of the school day.
Nice.
And this is for middle and high school. We will have a different system because this is a little complicated for elementary. But we will have a way to maintain them in the elementary schools.
And the presentation y'all sent us is perfect. A couple slides. It just talks exactly what it's like. Obviously, the logistics of leaving school for the day that's why the principals are special. We'll have to figure that out.
Right, we got that. That's by, this company has provided us many PR suggestions. We've got our flyer, and so it's just a matter of education as to, we're not taking the phone. I know that the middle schools this year with a box, the phones were always visible there. It was a box they could pick up and take with them. Phones never leave your child's
Right. Yeah.
side. No,
What's
no.
the plan for the child who forgets their bag?
Oh, yes.
No social media for a day.
They only do that a few times,
Yeah.
and don't realize it.
But let's let the principals answer.
All right.
As Mr. Oh, go ahead, Mr.
Mr. Mahal.
Yeah, so
You have the floor.
to answer your question, the idea is we don't want the phone out at the school at all during the day. So obviously at Morgantown High, we have 200 and some adults there that can monitor that, right? So if a kid is very honest and they come to us and say, I forgot my bag, well, then we're just going to keep that in the office. I've actually worked with Miss Hicks tonight to get a couple of the boxes that they've been using at Suncrest to have in the office and just, sign in for slot number 3 because you're the third person who was honest today to do it. In reality, the idea would be if you didn't tell me, there's no way for me to know with 1,800 and some kids that some kid didn't bring their bag today. They could just be lying, let's be honest, right? As long as it doesn't come out throughout the day and they're engaged in class, that's what we're looking for. So as long as there isn't an issue, then we won't have to worry about that. Now, if there is, the teacher will just write them up and weave us, and we'll deal with it on a discipline side. So.
Jen had asked, what if they forget to unlock it?
So if they forget to unlock it, it's going to be really, they're not going to have their phone at home, and maybe their parents will be happy about that. I'm not sure, but if they forget to unlock it, it really is going to be till the next school day. So Fridays are going to be very key for high school students, but there won't be a way. Now, obviously, we have events and things left at night. Like if they come find me at an event or whatever and say, "Hey, I forgot to unlock my phone," we're going to certainly go unlock it. But you know, the kid who doesn't come back for the event or something, I guess they just don't have their phone for that evening. It is I don't know who brought it up, but it is like the same thing as your Chromebook, right? We're asking them to bring their Chromebook back and forth to the school every day. We're just asking them to put the phone in the bag every day and be engaged and present in school.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, I think it's, logistically, again, you have to figure that out, how you get the bag open, and then the kids that leave it locked, and kids that lose it, but they lose everything anyway. So, and as a dad of two teenage girls, one's 14 and one's 11, I pray for them daily because of the statistics you just saw. It's brutal and it's real. I can tell when my children have not had their electronics for a few hours. They're completely different people. And I applaud you all, because this is not normal in the world to think of the medical device. My daughter has type 1 diabetes, and the only way she knows her sugar is her cell phone. So we find out about this, and of course she panics, and we find out during orientation that she'll have a Velcro phone. So, and she's the good one of the bunch, so she won't be on her phone. You don't have to worry about that, but it will be nice to...
Well, that's good to hear.
But that is awesome, because some children need the... I think there's 15 Kendra has at MHS. That's just MHS, 15 type 1s.
Kind of curious, from the pilot schools, does this create a traffic jam getting to buses at the end of the day? How many of these demagnetizers do we have?
They recommend 1 per 60 students, because once they catch on to how they do it, then they're just walking past. It can be on a wall. This magnet does come off, so wherever the magnet has like the night before, then this comes off. Then someone puts the magnet back on. And again, there are also handheld devices that I know that we've talked at the schools, that people on bus duty, "Oh no, I've got my," right here it is.
That would be my kid.
Yeah, yeah. So it does provide that emergency unlocking.
Excellent. Great.
One thing that I'm glad about, Jennifer knew I was going to do this, or suspected I would, is it's across the board. We don't have to worry about, we did this school, not that school, this school. So legally, I think we're okay there.
I think that was huge for us as schools, just to chime in on that, to be able to work together on this and have the support of the board to be able to get everything we need to make it happen. Because it's very hard as one school to stand on an island. Donna did it last year, and I applaud her for doing that. She has worked out all the kinks. We were talking to her before we even came over here today about what if this, what if that, like things that we hadn't thought of quite yet, and she's got all the answers, honestly. So
awesome.
Very
Great
good.
job, all of you. Great job.
Donna, thank you for being the guinea pig. Any other comments, questions? All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see how this all pans out throughout the year.
Oh, I have one more question.
Okay.
When will parents be notified, other than if they're watching this meeting right now?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
We're going.
Are you using those slides as well, or is that available
Part of
to
that,
the...
yes, we have our flyers and everything. Teresa and Amber have everything ready to go. We're releasing the letter from Dr. Campbell, which supports this system-wide, and a few different things here. But the presentation also we want to be available as well.
Very good. Anyone else? Thank you again. Next presentation is Suncrest Mitchell, 6th grade temporary relocation.
Yes.
And it is, oh, go ahead.
Yep, I was just going to ask for our deputy superintendent. Donna Hicks likes to be the guinea pig for lots of things. This one I don't think she's asking for, but she has been awesome through this whole process.
Yes.
So if Mrs. Hicks wouldn't come up to the podium, and Amanda Washington as well, we're going to talk to you about a bad situation and how we're going to make it good.
So I'd like to begin this evening because, yes, this was a curveball, not one we wanted to have or even imagined that we would have. But we did have an issue with a roof at the annex building at Suncrest Middle. We discovered that it was leaking. Well, because of the way it was installed 10 years ago, that company no longer exists. They did sell out to another owner. That owner tried to step up and honor a warranty. It was beyond something that that owner could actually honor. So it was through no fault of the new owner and the new company. But what had occurred is the way the roof was applied, a leakage occurred, and that leakage was caught in the foam insulation. Unfortunately, not able to be discovered. So it's been leaking for quite some time. We were not aware of that because of the foam insulation. So once it became waterlogged to such a great extent, then we started to see, and Ms. Hicks had reported, we're having leaks in that building. So once Amanda became involved, and as our in-house architect and structural engineers became involved, it became a very serious concern for us. We've discovered at this point the building cannot be used safely at this time. Now, that's a whole nother process where Amanda, and working with Dr. Campbell and, of course, the office here with all of us, we're working on what needs to happen for that building. So that'll be another discussion at another time. But right now, the sixth grade students were slated to be in that building for this school year. Weren't able to do that. So that's when things kicked into high gear. And again, Ms. Hicks and I have done a couple of things together, but so we're getting pretty good at this, especially Ms. Hicks. So Amanda and I went on a little journey to find some space that we could place 150 students in. So we examined about 3 pieces of property, and the one that did become available to us is the space at the WVU Innovation Lab, formerly the Milan building. So Amanda and I did a field trip over there, and once we did do that and said okay and worked with them to see if there was something suitable for us, we began to get serious. And that's where Ms. Hicks then took over, and she's been working at this nonstop. She's had parent meetings, face-to-face parent meetings. She's had communication from which Dr. Campbell and she have communicated to the families, and I believe you've seen that letter. But there's been a lot of footwork involved here. So as you can imagine, going off-site is a lot. We have to consider, how do we get our students there safely? How do we serve them safely? How do we have lunch safely? It's a laundry list of things. How do we make sure our students and our families feel that the educational process is not going to be disrupted? Well, again, I cannot recognize Suncrest Middle and the leadership that Ms. Hicks has had to make this happen. So she's here to start to talk more specifically about it. I did want Amanda to share with you the location of where this is going to be. She and I have scouted it. I've been there twice. She's been there many more times. Ms. Hicks has now been there. We're very close to of course, North Elementary, and from where we will have lunch, it's a great view to North Elementary that I've never seen before because I've never been on that side of it. But it is a great view, and the playground is accessible there as well. Just a little bit of walking there. There is an outside view of the scenery, so to speak, because this school placement right now, there are no windows. It's interior, so we do want the children to be able to be outside for a portion of the day, and that will be made possible for them. Again, I'm going to ask Amanda to just talk a little bit about the facility, and then I'd like Ms. Hicks to go from there.
Board members, we did share with you diagrams in your executive content of the layout and the location in relation to the buildings. Amanda?
Sure. So students will start off riding a bus from Sunset. The buses will pick them up from their homes as usual and take them to Suncrest Middle School, and then they will be 2 to 3 buses will be bussed over to the new site. At that point, they will get off the bus and enter. We have a private entrance to the building. And as soon as they enter the building, they have signage that leads them to their classrooms. Currently, we are leasing 9 classrooms, 3 offices. We have a staff restroom for our teachers and staff, and then we have separate boys and girls restrooms for all of our students. We have access to a large cafeteria, which is really nice, as Donna had spoke of. It has a serving line where lunch will be able to be served, through the line, just like school and everything. One of the good things I like about this facility is as soon as you approach the site, there's a security officer on site always. And so buses will be able to go through and everything. But if you're a visitor, you go to, they'll lead you to a small parking lot, and they will go into the main lobby, and we will have someone there if a student needs to leave early, or if they maybe come in late, whatever it might be, we'll have someone on staff to take them to and from the classes. Visitors won't go to the classroom areas, they will stay in that lobby area. Then if you're a teacher or a staff member, we send over a list of those individuals to WVU security team. And as a visitor, or as a staff member approaches the security guards, you show them your county badge, or if you don't have it, you show them your ID, and they'll look on the list. Very secure site. They want it to be safe and secure for their people as well as the students and everything. So I think that's really a great service they're providing to us. We just finished tonight moving teacher desk and chairs, furnishings and that type of thing to the classrooms so that they'll be ready for teachers to start tomorrow.
Thank you. Wow, it's been a lot, but I will say, with the in-person meetings, I felt that was paramount. I wanted the students and the parents to see me, the calmness, have an opportunity to ask me questions that might not have been answered in the memo, because there's certainly a lot of details that they wanted answers for. So with the in-person meetings, everything was so very positive. I could not have asked for more support from the Suncrest community in both sessions. A lot of trust built into the administration that we have. The 6th grade team was there. Some of them were going back and forth meeting the parents, as well as in Mon County schools and everything that they put together to replicate what I'm calling the Suncrest Middle 2.0 temporary relocation. So everything we do at Suncrest Middle right now is the same system and process that we'll have in the temporary location. On the first day, we have 6th grade teachers going to ride that shuttle bus with those children. We have MPD on board, 2 to 3 officers that I've spoken with personally that are going to be there. Christy Burkhart and I walked the perimeter, and we now understand how those buses are going to matriculate in and go around. So I really feel comfortable with everything that we've put in place. I feel like it is extremely streamlined and fluent, where the kids are going to feel safe. We're also going to make sure that our teachers have enough time to create those classrooms, make them welcoming and inviting before opening up an open house for those parents. So we're going to give a couple extra days for those teachers to get the classrooms ready. And I call it Old Milan. I grew up in Morgantown, so pardon me. That old building, we are working with the gentleman to open up an open house for 2 hours here in the end of August. What we also have done, any parent that could not come to the in-person informational meeting, we've put together the most frequently asked questions, and we've put that out digitally. Parents have also communicated with me in person regarding IEPs, anything specific to their child that maybe we didn't cover because of confidentiality, and we have also been able to work out all of those details. We will have 1.5 special educators dedicated to that temporary location so they can properly implement all the IEPs. We also have Meet Our Sixth Grade team. Collectively, they have over 137 years of experience, so the kids and the parents will get this evening. So when they pick up their schedule this Friday, if that teacher cannot be there for whatever reason, they're going to be able to see the smiling face of the teacher that they're going to see on the first day as well. So the whole goal is to really make this as comfortable and less anxiety-ridden on parents and the children, because these children are coming in a transition, and now we're relocating them. But the children I've sat down with, they're okay. They're ready to go. There's trust. There's belief. And I think those in-person meetings really, really were beneficial in that aspect. Any questions that you may have for me that I haven't covered?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions here. I know that
Sure.
sixth graders are so integrated in the rest of the middle school. What about sixth grader students who are in the band or advanced math?
I'm
I know
glad
you
you
guys
asked
have
that.
solved this. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. That's something else we covered with the parents. We adjusted our master schedule to release related arts teachers, first and second period, to start their day with sixth grade students. Band, orchestra, choir, physical education, health, art will all be there on site. Advanced math, our teachers are over there. They do teach advanced math, which is Miss Savage and Miss Walker. They're over there full time and will deliver
good
that
to know.
instruction.
And then an assistant principal?
Yes,
I mean,
she will be there full time.
Your assistant principal will be there full
Yes,
time?
sir.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Because I was thinking maybe we can get a retired assistant principal, filling that job.
I think Mrs. Hicks is comfortable with the setup.
If you're comfortable with it,
I
We're
am.
good. Okay.
I'm very comfortable with that.
because I was going to suggest we can get somebody else there to help.
I appreciate that. I know there's times when I will have to attend certain meetings. I'm human. I might not feel well one day, but Ms. Tallarico, Sandy Duvall, Dr. Campbell have always worked with me to provide the supports needed for that. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
I just want to stress the fact for the public that this is temporary.
Yes,
It's
this is temporary.
hopefully 3 months or thereabouts, but
Yes.
That's enough.
I was asked about that, and I said, as of today, I was told approximately 3 months. If that would ever change, I will have more meetings and more information immediately pushed out to parents.
I just
Yes.
want to make sure they didn't think it was going to be for the full year.
And we are still working directly with the contractors that we brought on board to repair the building. They're still looking at things, and I know Amanda's working with them on a daily basis so that we can try to get as soon as possible a better time frame so that we then can share that with parents. We don't want to paint a picture that's inaccurate. We believe we're going to be in the 3-month range. But we need to get more information from our contractors as they prepare for the project and the repairs, and we'll share that as soon as we have a better understanding of what it's going to look like.
Thank you all. I mean, we are so blessed. We just heard about this, and the fact that you, boom, boom, now we got a spot, now we got transportation. How y'all pulled this together so quickly is amazing, and the fact that I've heard nothing about this. I can't believe it. I asked Teresa, I said, are you sure the communication went out? Oh, honestly, I mean, we're getting bashed on other things on social, but how did this, this is awesome. Completely awesome that it came together like this. So, and the one thing that it will always be near and dear to my heart, and I think everyone in this room will agree, is student safety.
Yes.
If you got that, we'll work everything else out.
We have that.
If they're
And
safe,
yes.
then we're good. Right?
In a happy accident, when I walked in to see the building, it was Carolina blue and white, and I'm like, oh, we'll just tell them that was done purposefully. It was a happy accident, but it was really nice to see the colors. So.
Oh, come on, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
So the meals will be prepared elsewhere and delivered?
Yeah, Mr. Brian Keel is working with our head cook over at Suncrest Middle. They have a plan prepared. I don't know, Brian, if you want to speak on that.
I just was curious if
but they
that's
will-
covered, so we're.
It is, and we do have shelf-stable milk that does not need refrigerated. However, we have opened up
refrigeration, they will have breakfast, and they will have hot meals at lunchtime. Yeah, and we're less than a mile away,
Right.
which is really nice. Like if I need to get there, we will have nurse, counselor, special education, anything that is in every other school, we're replicating at Suncrest Middle 2.0.
I like the fact that everybody goes to the school, and then we
Yes.
go from there. I
Yes.
think it's
And
probably
also,
much
the
easier for
parents,
you.
yeah, the parents were very pleased with that, because if their children come back for volleyball or any other like extracurricular, cheerleading, band, things like that, they'll be right there cross country, so they'll do everything at the school.
Very good.
you,
Excellent
Donna.
job.
Thank you, Dawn.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
We'll try to not get into anything else you have to be to get anything.
I'm starting to wonder. Starting to wonder. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure you don't want to pilot something else for me?
If you tell me that you would like for me to pilot something, I will say, okay.
And truly she does that. I usually call her 2 hours and say, Donna, can we do this I call her at 11 and say, can we do this by 1? And she says yes. So.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along to new contracts.
All right, as you can see, we have several this evening we're trying to get in place prior to the start of the school year. The first one we're going to talk about is with New Singular Wireless, and this is a structure lease agreement at University High School. And their representative, DJ Sigmund, is here to provide us with an overview. So, DJ, before you get into anything, I'm going to recommend to the board that they approve the contract as presented this evening.
Do I have a second?
Okay, I appreciate your time. I'm DJ Sigmund, I work for AT&T. We had an opportunity, or we actually realized the need at University High School. We had very, very poor to no indoor coverage, as Donna got the experience.
Yes.
So we had a rare opportunity this year where we had some funding in the budget where we could look at some special projects in West Virginia. And what we identified was some school safety projects. And hopefully we can fit 2 or 3 in. Monongalia County Schools was at the top of the list. And we've had a wonderful relationship with you over the last 10, 15 years. And so we really wanted to do something for you guys, and University High was just a great fit. We're looking to put what we call a macro light cell. It's a mini cell phone tower. It's not anything obtrusive. It's roughly 8 to 10 foot tall. It'll sit on the roof of the buildings. But it will give you great indoor coverage. It will also benefit some of the coverage around the school. It's like I said, it's one of those rare win-wins. I mean, for AT&T, we see it as a school safety benefit, an opportunity to kind of give back just a little bit. Any questions?
I just had a concern on
Okay.
the unmanned aircraft flying over. Possibly you may need it or not need it in the audio and video.
To place it?
No, ongoing.
Oh.
Within your contract, it was talking about you may need to do that or not do that, and same with the 24-hour access. I think that we need to make sure that if you're going to do a drone, that Principal Green needs to know anytime that drone's up there so that we know it's your drone and not somebody else's.
Sure. And what we took a lease document that was for a full-blown cell phone tower, 300 foot high. And we tried to modify for this, and Jennifer helped us. So I doubt we'll ever have a drone.
Well, I just want to throw that out there to maybe make sure your people,
Sure, absolutely.
if it would.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to do anything without coming back and talking to the school board.
I figured if it did happen, people would be, okay, why is there a drone going over our high school and what's going on? So as long as you got it covered, I'm good with that.
Thank you, DJ.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Coffee one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Right, next is our architecture and engineering contract with McKinley and Associates. This is for the Morgantown High School cafeteria and outdoor classroom project. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the contract as presented to you in your executive file.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Specifically about the project or the contract.
I don't have any.
Are we just updating it, or are we,
Oh,
what are we
no.
doing? What's the plan?
So, Morgantown High, we will actually, through three of these projects, we are receiving funding through the School Building Authority. And so Morgantown High is for a commons kitchen upgrade, as well as an outdoor classroom.
So it won't impact their day-to-day lunch? I mean, how will that?
That, we're going to talk about that, to really discuss how can we design this, build this, and still have school. Obviously, summer is only so long, so we have basically just an idea of what we want to renovate. We haven't really come up with a design yet, so we will definitely keep that in consideration.
And this will be a major
Yes.
kitchen renovation. This is not an upgrade. This is a major kitchen renovation.
The kitchen there and the size of the school are not compatible. That poor little kitchen is a maze. I don't know how our cooks do what they do there. This is Brian's dream. He wanted to do it before he retired, so we said, okay, Brian, here we go. An entirely new kitchen, the outdoor area so students can eat outside too.
Where will that be?
Where will it be?
Where will that outdoor
Well, we're still working on that, but
Outside.
yeah.
Somewhere, on a roof.
Yes, so as
About the
soon as
only
we
space
have,
available will be at corner of Edgewood and Wilson.
That's it.
pretty
yeah.
much.
I mean, if you think about it. it's
Pretty
worth-
much, and we'll be bringing design to you, obviously, before anything happens for your approval and to make sure that it's compatible with the community, because again, we're landlocked there, obviously. But Brian has already been exploring ways to do this. Yes, it probably will impact the beginning of the school year. We'll never get this done in 3 months. It'll probably take 4 or more, but we're ready for all that. We're going to take it on because the outcome is going to be something that's going to be the future for what we do in serving food for students.
I've been spending the last year just researching, going all over to Pennsylvania, was up in Boston, and how others do this. And obviously, we already have the plan. If we can't serve hot lunches at the school for a short period of time, we already have a plan in place that we would be able to provide a lunch, a cold lunch, or a different option. So it won't affect providing breakfast or lunch in any way. It just may look differently.
I see the food truck from MTech coming over there.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. I'm assuming you're staying up there for the next one, too.
She's going to be up here for a couple. More construction. That's all we ever do. This is with Williamson Shriver Architects, and this is for the design of the MTech addition and renovation. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the contract as presented in your executive content.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Amanda?
So this one, I'm really excited about this one. We submitted it several times to the School Building Authority. We finally got funding for it. It's for a 3-classroom STEM addition at MTech, along with a Safe Schools entrance. So really exciting. This is the one, Donna, we worked with CNI. I know Chris Urban's office. A lot of people here at the board office worked with us to really give the School Building Authority a good idea of what type of curriculum and what we really want to do. So we're excited about this one. And Williamson Shriver, I think they're doing a fantastic job with it.
Was this our third shot, the SBA, or second? I know
We were turned down twice, and then they brought it back to us and said they would fund it. Good.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
And the
Right.
Safe Schools, did you say that's at
Yes.
Mountain View? Did you say that?
Well, we're at
Oh,
Mountain
okay.
View
Is that
now.
right?
Yep.
Oh. I am so.
That's next.
It's all right. They're all running together.
They certainly.
They all run together. All right, next, this again is with Williamson Shriver Architects. This is to design the Mountain View Safe School entrance that our Deputy Superintendent just mentioned. Superintendent recommends that the board approve that as presented in your executive content.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Open for discussion.
Okay, so this project is connecting the main school building at Mountain View with an annex building that they have, and then creating a Safe Schools entrance at the main building.
Any question? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. All right, next.
We'll be able to keep Amanda busy for a while. All right, next, this is a contract with West Virginia University Department of Psychology for a practicum agreement at Excel for an undergraduate internship. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the internship as presented to you this evening.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Open for discussion. No questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Next.
And lastly, for you is the lease agreement that we just presented to you regarding Suncrest Middle with West Virginia University Innovation Corporation. Superintendent recommends that the board approve that lease agreement as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Open for discussion. No discussion?
I have a question.
Okay.
In section 2.0, they put an annual rate in there, but the assumption is that we will only pay month by month.
That is correct. And we had that discussion with them. They're very agreeable to the month-by-month payment.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I think it's part of their boilerplate contract. Jennifer worked with them directly on this to work out all the details. And I'll just say WVU has been fantastic to work with.
On this.
On this. I mean, they like day one, we called them, Donna was over there, looked at the place. They've given us everything we've asked for. They've been really special to work with.
Very good. Anything else? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. We're moving down the pike now.
No, sir.
Awarding of contracts.
Right. This is for the Cheat Lake Elementary asphalt paving job. As you can see in your executive content, we received 4 bids. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the low bidder, which was Anderson Excavating LLC, at a base bid of $54,066.91 to be completed by December of 2024.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
I have a few questions and concerns. The assumption is that they will get it in and finished by December. When you're paving in cold weather, that's a concern about how long the asphalt will last. And so, like after you lay it down. And so I was worried about them trying to get it done by that deadline without being concerned about the weather.
Amanda, do you want to talk about that? I know you spoke with them about that.
Right. So the plan is to get it done before the plant closes, for winter. Since school is starting, very soon, we weren't able to get this bid out, earlier in months ago and things. So we need to give them enough time to do it and everything. But they need to do it either weekends or times when it doesn't affect the school. Obviously, we'll try to work with them, but obviously we have to have places for teachers and staff to be able to park. It's just the lower level parking lot, so it doesn't affect the closer spots to the school. But they did request until the end of the year there to be able to get it done. I'm certainly going to work with them in terms of all the days that maybe we have a couple of days. It's either a Monday or a Friday that students are at school, and we'll try to utilize those long weekends in order to get it done.
You just answered my other question, so thank you.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
It won't take them long once
No.
they start on it. They'll knock that out pretty quickly. Okay, any other comments, questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Accounts payable, and this is the one I need to turn it over to Vice President, since I have a business association with this vendor. So, if you would, I shall leave.
Board members, the superintendent recommends that the board approve accounts payable addendum A as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'll start early.
I did it anyway.
No, I don't think so. Sean likes to not.
It can be your job.
Thank you, Jennifer, for covering for me there.
She did fantastic.
Consent agenda.
Okay, again, a lengthy list as we try to get things prepped for the first day of school here. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the consent agenda as presented this evening to include, I think we go through the whole alphabet tonight. Item A, expenditures exceeding $3,000. Item B, supplements and transfers. Item C, the payment of salaries and accounts payable. Item D are the minutes of your July 23rd, 2024 regular board meeting. Item E is our Best Life Therapy Audiology contract. Item F is our Best Life Therapy Interpreting contract. Item G is our Best Life Therapy Speech contract. Item H is our Burlington agreement. Item I is our City of Morgantown PRO agreement for Suncrest Middle. Item J is our City of Morgantown Pro agreement with Morgantown High School. Item K is our EPIC Memorandum of Understanding for bus operator trainers. Item L is our EPIC Memorandum of Understanding for developmental evaluators. Item M are our field experiences. Item A is our Memorandum of Understanding with Kinematics.
Item N. You said A.
And, did I
Yeah.
say? Oh,
I
sorry.
thought maybe, I thought he said A, but okay.
I don't-
Anyway, continue.
That was N. Kinematics MOU. Item O is our agreement with Kunkel for Mountain View Elementary. Item P is the Head Start Transportation Waiver Memorandum of Understanding. Item Q is our MCHD Smile Express Memorandum of Understanding. That's the Monongalia County Health Department, by the way. Item R is the Marshall University Math for Elementary agreement. Item S is the Milan Park Aquatic and Track agreement. Item T is our lease with Pitney Bowes Operating for Suncrest Middle. Item U is our Pitney Bowes Operating lease for Mountaineer Middle. Item V is the memorandum of understanding with the source. Item W is the USI Consulting Group actuarial services for gas evaluations, vision, and dental. Item X is our visiting homemakers memorandum of understanding. Item Y is our Weavis Technical Support Services memorandum of understanding. And finally, item Z is the Westwood Westover Police SRO agreement.
I think this is the first time that you did use all the alphabet.
Congratulations.
I am assuming you have a recommendation.
I did make
Oh,
that
did
at
you?
the
Okay.
outset. Yes.
So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, discussion?
There's a typo in the Pro Suncrest Middle contract, section 2.0, it says Mountaineer Middle.
And also with that, there's is there a difference between the prevention resource officer and school resource officers?
Yes, there is. So I'm not sure because we have SROs, which
Right.
do not have that teaching component required.
Okay.
And so that's what we're utilizing, are the SROs,
Got it.
It all started way back when with the grant money
and which was a Westwood.
Right,
You
Westwood.
remember that?
Westwood was the first one. Okay.
I also have a question about the Weavis agreement. Why do we need this agreement with Harrison County?
So probably back in, I'm thinking 2017, there used to be called what was RESAs. They were Regional Education Service Agencies, and the state was broken up into 8 of those, and each of those sites contained their own WEBIS personnel. So probably, I'm thinking in 2018, the state did away with all of the RESAs. They no longer funded them. So we have continued to have the support with the WEBIS personnel, because if not, we would have to call the state help desk, and they're working with 55 other counties.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep, we used to be number 6, weren't we? I think back then.
This is 7.
Yep, Lisa said.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Board member updates. Probably ought to address this a little bit because we heard about this in the presidential training, that the updates, we can discuss items. For example, if I had a report for the MPO committee that I serve on, or 4-H committee or whatever, we can discuss those and have questions, but we can't discuss anything that we might potentially vote on in the future because it's not on the agenda. So anyway, they all suggested that we all cover that, so I've done that. So is there any?
I have an update. I got a really nice postcard from the 4-H program here in Mon County, and I just want to remind everyone that the 4-H will be at the Mon County Fair next week, so turn out and support our students.
August 24th, with that, August 24th will be the livestock show where all our FFA students show their livestock and auction them off and stuff. So that's always a good time if you want to support.
It's great to see that come back because it was gone
Yep.
there for a while.
I want to give a shout out to Pantry Plus More for the efforts that they've done. I mean, Amanda Boyard and her crew has done an amazing job. And, we talk about funding sources and everything. The generosity of our community to donate not just food, but backpacks, pencils, pens, for all these students whose means may be limited, their family may be limited by means. It's just amazing, and that we have such good people like Amanda and her staff to put that all together.
Yeah, you got that right, brother. It's extremely impressive. Yep. The Milan Park Partnership obviously have done a ton for the community, and they got a couple big things coming up, so it'll be nice to see. Pickleball courts are almost done. Vital Construction finishing those up, and the outdoor courts, so it's taken off, and all the things they do for the track and field swimming and our partnership with them, but not just with Mon County schools, but the whole entire. I mean, look what they've done for baseball and everything around the community. So Milan Park has been really, really awesome. They have a huge Diabetes Research Foundation walk this Saturday, so anyone interested.
Up at Milan Park.
It'll be at Milan Park. Yeah, I think Mr. Ren Baker will be there, and I think Tony is emceeing. So raise money for the community.
Good.
And also freshman orientation today at MHS. We got so good reports there, and then I've heard some good things from other parents about orientation. I think middle school, at least for us, middle school orientation is Thursday, so we'll see how that goes.
Very good. I have no report for the MPO. We're having a meeting Thursday evening at 6 o'clock at the newly renovated Morgantown City Council chambers. So different look for it. So very good. Excuse me. So we'll move on to personnel matters, pre-K, K staffing discussion. I think this was something that Jen wanted to cover, wasn't it? Or no?
I just thought we should talk about it since it was brought up in the fall, or in the spring, early spring. Our practice of moving kindergarten and pre-K aides and teachers at the same time, and whether that's something that we can discuss maybe changing in the future. I know talking to Dr. Campbell the other day, our new aides with first grade and second grade, that doesn't apply to, and I feel like all of the other service in the county is on a seniority basis, so it doesn't quite seem fair. Even though there are going to be times when they're going to want to move together, I feel like, if that's the rule for service, then maybe that should just be the rule for service, because then people know what they're expecting.
Yeah.
I just want to give a caveat that it's not all seniority based. So if you have custodians and you have a 261 and a 215 and you're doing away with one or the other, you don't look at their seniority. You do look at positions for those. And the same when we moved the bus drivers, those were not seniority based. They're actually, in the way the code reads, is that transfers are based on the position.
But that position would, in an aid situation,
If it's
if there isn't
all
a
matters
position in
being
the school,
equal.
then obviously they wouldn't be able to stay.
Yes. So, and when we do have people on equal footing, I mean, I don't have an opinion either way on how you do it, but if they are on equal footing, then we look to seniority.
Right. So, and I'm just thinking of the one situation that came before us, but that just got me thinking, like, that it's not a policy, it's a practice, and does that practice benefit our staff?
And I think it's something we can definitely talk about, address.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All in favor of that?
Oh, that's right, we were just discussing. I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself here. That's
No action.
no action. I was already onto the personnel list. Now we can do the personnel list.
We can. I don't have any changes. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the personnel list as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? No discussion? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. New positions.
We have none this evening.
We have no new positions. Personnel list addendum.
Again, I have no changes to the addendum you received. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the personnel list addendum as presented.
Have a motion?
So,
Second.
Discussion? So our new principal, okay. Okay. No discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. All right, when is our next board meeting? August 27th, right? Yep. At 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Gotta keep remembering. All right. Well, good. We're adjourned.
Thank you, board members. Thank you.